Yo, what's good, everybody? It's me, PT, man, and welcome back to the Leadership Podcast. Hey, as always, wherever you are watching this or listening to it, go ahead, hit the subscribe, hit the like, hit the follow me button, man, so that you never miss another episode again. And today, man, is another good day, right? I got another brother of mine's on the call. We're going to sit here and talk about some more leadership topics. And I met Darrius Smith, man, in the military. So he's, if you don't know much about the military, there has, on the enlisted side, there's 9 ranks, right? My man got to the top of that 9 ranks, right? That makes you an important person in that. That's when people start pulling cars around for you, man. And when you speak, they go run by you lunches, and he has like an exec type of thing, man. So, and today, man, I'm so happy he came on. I'm gracious that he gave me his time, and we're going to dive into a little bit of leadership and talk about that transition from military life to civilian life. Because y'all all heard from me my story through it, so we're going to hear from another brother. But before we get started, D. Smith, man, do me a favor and just introduce yourself to the people and give a quick bio, man. Quick bio.
All right, I'll make it real quick. So, hey team, hey world. As Peyton said, we met in the military. Yes, I did make it to E9, which is Chief Master Sergeant. That's the top 1%. But what I will tell you is the rank did not make me. So when I first met Peyton, I was actually TDY, right? I literally just told him I ain't gonna talk about TDY. But I met him while we was TDY out in Vegas, and just the way the brother welcomed me in, right? You could just tell he was a good, wholesome brother. Me and my team came down to his house, basically where he was working at. And what he did was he showed us a good time. So it's nobody pulling cars around for me. I put my pants on just like he do, but it's all good. So I'm Darrius Smith. I'm from St. Petersburg, Florida. Born and raised, and the first time I actually left Florida was when I joined the military. But throughout that time, my work ethic, my parents both worked 2 jobs as I was coming up. We didn't have a lot. So I watched them work, and I kind of learned. So I started the day I could start working. I started working. I was working at the car wash out in the hot sun in Florida, and I worked up until the day I joined the military. And then that's when it just took off for me. So from there, I served 25 years. I'm an intelligence specialist by trade, right now working for the Space Force. But I have my own company, Stay Ready Leadership, right? So it's a workforce development company. That way I have a passion for just developing people. I know we're going to get into this more into the conversation, Peyton, so don't let me take up too much time talking.
Nah, man, that's good. That's good stuff, man. I like hearing people get their own bio, man. That's why someone had me do that, and it caught me off guard, and it was like, oh well, I'm from PG County, man, and right. So now, man. So let me ask you. So you said St. Louis,
St. Petersburg, Florida.
St. Petersburg, Florida, man. How was it growing up down there?
It was wild. So again, not that we was dirt poor, right? But we didn't have a lot growing up. So I learned to appreciate stuff. But it was one of those places where, you was always watching your back. You had those people that wanted to go to school, do what they had to do. And you had those other guys that wanted to be street, that wanted to be hood. So, to keep it real, I was a nerd, right? And my glasses right here. I just ain't got them on, but I be fly with these now. But back in the day, boy, it was rough. So, but no, it was my sister and I, and we spent a lot of time with each other because our parents, like I said, they worked 2 jobs. So, we learned early on what it was like to take care of yourself and then take care of one another. So we was always watching each other back.
It's crazy, man. So many people I bring on here that look like us. Our backgrounds are all similar. Don't matter where we from, right? I'm originally from Pittsburgh. I had a homegirl on here from Baltimore, right? Like my man from Kentucky. Yeah. And it's like we all come from the same background of a story, but it's crazy to see how far we all came from that. Right. You know what I mean? So that's, and I always point that out just because, we get caught sometimes in the narrative that people are holding us back or we can't do it because of this or because of that. We like to put barriers in front of us, but there's no barriers.
Right.
There's complications,
Yep.
Right? There's
Self-inflicted
situations.
obstacles. That's all it is.
That's all it is, but you can still get to it. So
Right.
what made you join the military then?
Bro, to be honest with you, I don't know. So I was going to college, right? So I was in my second year at the local junior college. Spring break came around, so the semester almost over, right? And then woke up one day, I was like, you know what? I ain't doing this anymore. That decision was made that day. So what was that? What, the last 4 weeks of class? I didn't go back.
Oh
Basically
wow.
failed out of all those classes. I went to see the Army. And it sounded good, man. My dude met me at Burger King, bought me the little meal. So I was like, I'm straight, bro. Let's do this. My uncle was like, have you ever talked to the Air Force? I was like, nope. He's like, call him. So I called Sergeant Mack. I'm still in
Mm,
touch with that dude 30 years later.
that's
So I was like, hey,
crazy.
I'm thinking about joining the military. I said, you meet me at Burger King. He was like, hell no. He said, you better come to the office. So I show up at the office, bro. We had a conversation. He was 100% authentic and real with me from the day I talked to him the first time till I'm at MEPS picking my job out. I told him what they offered me, and he was like, bro, I don't even know what the hell that is, but it sounds cool. And he was like, you should take it. So I did. And then, after 25 years of service, I was happy that which route I took. But ultimately, I think, like I said, I watched my parents, I won't say struggle, but they worked hard just to give us what we had. And, I talk back, I tell my mama all the time now, like, I don't even remember my grandmother ever having a job because she would get up and go to work and be back home before me and my sister got out of bed.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So that's the kind of grind and, that work ethic. So I was just like, let me just try something different. So I jumped into the military, and from day one, man, I was getting yelled at and forced to lead and care for other people. I was like, I could do this. My sister, I've been looking out for her, even though she's my older sister, but I was like, I
Yeah.
could do this. And from day one, I was like, this is it. This is
So
what I'm
you so it's crazy because our story's very so how old were you when you decided to go in?
20.
You was 20. All right.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit older, right? I was 23 going on 24, but it's crazy because same path, right? I decided I needed well, I had a kid, so I was like, I gotta do something now, right? But I was going to the army as well. So I had an army recruiter. I went to MEPS with him, the whole 9 yards. And the same thing. I scored with him. And then when I came home, my dad was the one who was like, why the Air Force? Why the Army? Why not the Air Force? And I was like, mm-hmm. And then he put me on the phone with my uncle as well. And I never knew my uncle was even in the military. They were like
Mhm.
in the reserves or something.
Same with me.
So yeah. So and it was so funny because my uncle must have been in the middle of something. So my dad told him what I was thinking, and he put me on the phone, and he was like, "Hey, I heard you thinking about going to the Army." I said, "Yeah." He said, "You want to be a bullet catcher?" I said, "No." He said, "Join the Air Force." And he's like, "Talk to you later." It's like, and yeah, same thing, man. I went to the Air Force recruiter, and the Army guy was pressing me,
Yeah.
right? So like, I'm sure you got the same heat. Like he's calling me every day, like just harassing me to the point. And we don't really like to be harassed like
Mhm.
that. And the Air Force dude was like, "Yeah, I don't care, you go or not." Like, and I wanted it more. So it's funny what I hear you say because like, man, we're pretty much locked the step. Except for I didn't get my nobody did pick my job out at MEPS through a book.
Okay.
And same thing, he didn't know. So when I picked the one Charlie 5, they changed the name now. It was like Aerospace Command and Controlling at the time. Ground to air surveillance. I ain't know what it was, nor did he. And he was like, "Yeah, that's good for you." Take that.
Just like, I'm gonna just get out of my hair, bro. Just let me just put you in and you going on about your business. But it worked out, right?
It did, man. So because you got to the top 1%, man, and just take me through this story. So when you first came in from Florida, were
Mm.
you a troublemaker? Like, was you one of those airmen that we always talked about?
Actually, no, right? So let me put these on for you just real quick. So look, I wear my glasses still, right? But so no, I was one of them sneaky guys. Yeah.
I'll rock
Yeah,
with you.
I was one of those quiet guys, the quiet, sneaky guys, but I knew how to handle business. So, like I say, from basic training, and as soon as I hit tech school, for those, we got those airmen leader, right? So your peer leaders. Man, both tech schools, because we went to Pensacola and then I went to Arizona first and then Pensacola. And at both tech schools, I was the red rope within 3 weeks of being on the ground.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it was because everybody else was messing up, right? Doing
Yeah.
stuff that we do while we in training and all of that. So I was thrown in early, bro. And it's been that way every place I've gone. Is kind of like, hey, I could do this, because I wasn't afraid, right? They always preach that try something. Don't be afraid to mess up. You can make mistakes. But again, I got a no fail attitude. So if you give me something or if I take something on, I'm running with it and I'm gonna do my best. And then when I start struggling, hopefully somebody lift me up. I'm also not afraid to ask for help.
Yeah. Yeah. And did you learn that growing up, or is that something you just picked up by using the military as you were moving?
I'll say it started while growing up, right? My early teenage years, like I say, from the day I turned 15, I went and got my restricted license, my permits, and then I started working at a car wash. I mean, I had to have my permit to vacuum a car out and pull it up 10 to 15 feet. That was it. Put it from park to drive, pull it up, put it back in park. And I did that, bro. And it started from basically my freshman to sophomore year of high school, all the way till I graduated. Well, actually joined the military.
Yeah.
So it was, man, it's that work ethic, the leadership. I was just on it, bro. And it was something that came natural once I joined the military and realized, hey, you know what? It actually feels good to take care of more people than just yourself. When you look at your team around you, we talk about it like even the homeboys, right? You got my homeboy, that's my dog, that's my boy. I look out for him. But when y'all all on that same accord and going after the same goal, it's just that much more refreshing, man.
Yeah. And it was, and I think I'm similar, right? But I was the troublemaker, I think, coming in, right? Because I was a little older, so I was like, they ain't gonna be talking to me like that,
Yeah.
right? So coming from here, from PG County, I felt a certain pride of myself, right? They don't care, right? You learn very quickly, like they not on that, right? But yeah, I think so. For me, the military helped me. I think I had those traits, like you were saying, before the military. Like I was captain of the basketball team. Like there was certain things that I would lead, and people would turn to me for. But the military really brought that out of me, bro. And then and there were so many mentors that I had in the beginning that really helped,
Hmm.
right? It helped me with that transition from saying, okay, you're no longer where you keep claiming you from, and now you here, and we got to maneuver differently if you want to get through this. So, how did that work with you? You have a lot of mentors in the military. You just moving?
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. I love that question because we use the word mentorship loosely in the military, and I look at it from a different perspective. Yes, I had mentors or people I looked up to or people that helped me. But what I also did was took different people, everybody I come in contact with, still to this day, I take something away from you, good or bad. Hey, I either want to be like that, that's the type of leader I want to be. I always ask that question, am I the type of leader I want to follow, right? And I just like, hey, I like that. Let me do that. Let me put that in my little toolbox. Or no, I don't like the way he or she said this. I know I better not do that because it bothered me, so I know it'll bother somebody else. But to this day, I'll say I got civilian mentors, and then in the military, this guy Chris Easter, man, as a command chief, even when I was a chief, he was the only dude that would stop in and he would just sit down in my office and just ask me how I'm doing. And that meant the world. It still mean the world to me, bro.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
just to find out how you doing. And he would actually sit there with me, whether it was 15 minutes or an hour. But a lot of times he would just sit there with me and find out, hey man, hey little bro, you all right? What's going on? How can I help you? What's going on in your world? And then because once you make it, you don't have a lot of peers, right?
yeah,
So now
yeah,
you get lonely or you feel lonely, you feel like you can't turn to nobody. And it was him, man. He still to this day will call me. He was like, hey, we didn't got to talk every day, but you my boy. You my dog. You got my back and I know this. And so Chris Easter, I eventually became, you know him?
I don't know.
He like the jujitsu king, man. He I talk about him. So it's funny because everybody used to tell us like, man, you got that first on that thing. He Debo, man. He just walk around just bossing people around. And Chris, he's a fifth degree black belt in jujitsu.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
man. So he's just that quiet professional. You just see him and he don't say a word, but he's just ready just ready to roll on somebody. But he's taught me a lot about what calm is. Yeah, I know what calm is and how to just, de-escalate different situations. So he has been probably the I won't say the most long-standing mentor, because I say my dad. He would be, right? Although, he still got a saying, and maybe you heard it before. He always tell me whenever I leave him, and to this day, I done been gone 30 years. He say, "Don't take no wooden nickels."
Don't take no wood nickels.
Wooden nickels, yeah. What that mean, man?
I don't know. Don't take no fake cash. Don't
I
take
guess
no.
just don't accept anything. I guess that's what he
Yeah, that's
means.
what I. That's where I was going with that.
Yeah,
But
that's all good, man. So how about you?
mentors,
Yeah,
I got. One of the biggest mentors I have, man, and I've had a lot in the military. But the problem, and maybe it was perception back then versus now. Like I had mentors when I needed them, but because I was married with a kid already in the military, a lot of people were like, "You're solid." So I
yeah,
wasn't like the trouble guy because I had a family, right? So I had people who was guiding me and giving me advice, man, like Boots Thornton, Roger Thornton, and there was a Tex Houston, right, man. There was a couple folks, man, uh, Dwayne Strode, like there was a bunch of them who were pouring to me.
right.
But one of the best mentors that I had, bro, was a retired colonel, or light colonel when he retired. And this is the white guy from Tennessee. Total opposite. It was when I was down in Florida in Herbert Field doing tests and evaluations. That was probably one of the best jobs I had. And I pick him out simply because we spent the most time together, but there was a cadre of them, and they were all retired colonels, chiefs, master sergeants, seniors, right? And they were all contractors now. And I was the only, it was right when I put on staff sergeant.
Mm-hmm.
So the timing of it was perfect as well. So they schooled me so much, man, on not just military and how to move. And I'm hearing it from these people who are at these top levels, top 1%, 2% levels. So they're giving me perspective. They're giving, and I have the time to really dive into the scenario, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not the flash by like, oh, I got you for a year. I'm there with them for 5.5 years of just getting it. Different perspectives. This guy was from Tennessee. I'm from the DC area. We do not red-hearted Republican.
Yeah,
At the time, I saw myself as a die-hard Democrat, right? But we were able to have conversations, not arguments. So I could hear his perspective. He could hear my perspective. Even till this day, I talk to him and his wife, and he's like, "Man, I learned so much from you." And I'm like, "Man, I learned so much from you," right? And that didn't just shape me. That I think that made me a very good leader because you know how it is, man. When we put those stripes on and we're supervisors or whatever, you're getting what you get.
mm-hmm.
So I'm getting them from St. Louis, California, Idaho, Texas,
Right.
right?
Absolutely.
East Coast cats. You're getting them all, and you got to still try to figure out how to maneuver them and get them to do the work and get together and build those team unities, right? And that's a skill set in its own right that people always say they want, but I don't think they understand how much of a skill that is,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I have a bunch of them, man. I have ones down in civilian world too, uh, who helped me teach through the agile stuff, right? Help me in the business stuff, help me to open up myself here in Baltimore because I had the idea, probably kind of like you, right? We come out, we're like, we're leaders, bro, right? And we're ready to go lead everyone, but the civilian world is different than the military.
Yeah, man. You I guess if we could dig a little bit deeper, right? So for me too, I picked Chris Easter out, but I also have a lot of white mentors that shaped my career, right? I think when us as the brothers, we come in, like you say, kind of this, hey, you can't tell me nothing. You don't know nothing about me. You don't know where I'm from. I was like, but if you just sit down and actually listen and then have a conversation, it's not about black or white. It's not about me or you. So I tell everybody, you got to have that white friend, right? I say you got to have that white friend because what's going to happen, like you say, business, they're going to put you to the table. They're going to bring you to the table. They're going to tell you what they know. My parents didn't know anything about investing, right? I started investing in my retirement to TSP probably at year 13 or 14 in my military career because I sat down with some of my white friends and they started talking about money. And I'm like, what? Hey, how much you got? Like, how much you got? While I'm around here buying all the Jordans and all this stuff, these cats already got $100,000 in the bank.
Easy.
Right? And I'm just like, bro, when I met you, my boss, Colonel Blooming, Mark Blooming, I said, hey, sir, I want to do this. I want to go to this TDY. He said, will it help your career? I was like, absolutely. And this is how. He was like, go. And that's when he came down there. And I catapulted from that point. From that day when we first met, that's when I started moving, bro. And it was because the white man, as we said, he put me in position. And from that time, I've been lockstep with a lot of guys that had my best interest at hand because they saw I was hungry. They saw I was willing to listen. And they realized, hey, when I tell Darrius, when we talk about it, it's no longer I'm telling Darrius what to do. It's like Darrius and I having a conversation, bro. And what Darrius say, I'm gonna take into consideration, and then we're gonna move forward. So we got to get away from that, especially as young black men, because we're still young.
Yeah.
But as black people as a whole, that the white man or the other man, a person trying to hold us down. When if you just take the time, man, that's actually some of your biggest cheerleaders.
Yeah, and that's the crazy part because where he met me was a lot better. Like, I don't know if we would have had that same dynamic if I met him when I first came in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I came in a little bit more like PG County versus then now I understand accountability. I've been held accountable, right?
Mhm.
Because here, before I came in, yeah, there's accountability, but we only saw that from the police.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, for sure.
Right? Like, because after certain age, your parents ain't punishing you no more, right? So you kind of like operate on your own. But when I got in there, and I was a latrine queen in basic, so they found the toenail. They're like, latrine queen called me in there. They're like grilling me over this nail, and then that's the first time I'm like, oh, okay, I got to do like. Yeah. It's a different dynamic. So grabbing me right then, maybe not, but where he grabbed me, you're right. Finances, different perspectives, understanding that not everyone sees it the way I see it, and understand that I'm not always right. And there's not right or wrong. It's just perspectives.
Yeah, absolutely.
And where is that middle ground? And I think that's what makes us better leaders overall, right? Because look, I know I can put you anywhere in any crowd or any place, and you can lead that crowd. You know how to get in there and touch them and not touch them, right? But like, like inspire them to move forward, right?
Yeah. Come here, you. Come
here. Like, come here, let me mentor you, bro. Like, but and I think that was the great point about the military for me. And I think, kind of like you said, we had those traits when we were younger, but I think it helped us and gave us a village to practice on to get to where we are. Absolutely. And that's why you got to that top 1%, man. And the difference between, just for everyone to understand, the difference for where he was and I was is like the amount of people you actually lead, right? Like, I had a squadron, but it was a small squadron. Maybe 400 people or so, maybe a little less, where he might be leading thousands, right? He has the opportunity to lead thousands in different organizations. And that's where it gets a lot, you get to dive a little bit deeper into that leadership because, like I know, first line supervisors is hard because it's the first time, but it gets easy. But leading leaders at ranks that's already elite, that's more complicated.
Absolutely.
Right. Leading your peers is always complicated. But all right, so now you reached the top 1%. You took your 25 years. You're like, it's time to go, right? We fought our war. I don't want to leave that out.
Yeah,
right? Because the war was definitely, I'll leave that for another conversation, man, because that gets a little crazy. It can in that conversation. But now it's time to retire. Mm-hmm. Once you decided to retire, did you go straight to running your own company, or did you say, I'm gonna go work, and then you was like, you know what, it's hard for me to work for someone and I need my own companies where I could spread out a little bit more?
So I took what I thought was gonna be like a 6-month hiatus, It ended up being like 35 days because I got really bored really quick, right? So I started with I took a gig. I took the first thing I can get, and then I was like, "This is not it." Because I told him, like you said, I've led teams of thousands of people. So I was like, "Hey, I don't want to lead anything. I only want to be responsible for me. I want to go to work, clock in, clock out." And then I got boring real quick, man. I was like, That's not that fire I have. I need to lead people, help people develop, because that's the most fulfilling thing for me. So I took probably like 35 days off, and then I took a little side hustle, right? I took a job, and in doing so, I started working for doing my LLC. I started, starting my business and doing all these things because I was like, I got something more inside of me other than just sitting here watching these other people work, watching paint dry literally, and I absolutely have to be a part of a team. I ain't got to really be in front of it all the time, but I got to be a part of something that's bigger than me. So yeah, it was probably a total of 6 months after I retired once I started my own business.
Oh, wow. So that's definitely not me. I retired because I was still in Vegas when I actually retired, and then I had a job in Vegas, but I didn't want to stay in Vegas. I knew what dollar amount I wanted in my mind, and Vegas wasn't going to give me that. So then I got an offer to go to Texas that I was definitely interested in, but before I got the job, they gave it to somebody else. So then that led me to come back home because I had an offer here back at home, and it was the money was right, everything was right. So we came back home. I knew I wanted my business. I just didn't know. So what I really wanted, to be honest, was we started the nonprofit to turn them loose.
Right.
So what I wanted to do was give back to kids. It was like we got to get back. Everyone talks about y'all leave and y'all make it and you never come back. So the concept was like, nah, we're coming back. We're going to give back. But that nonprofit world, man, that's a different mindset and a different mechanism, right?
Absolutely.
So over time, that just got complicated. Always asking for money to help kids that you would think everybody want to help, which in theory they do. But that's a different conversation for later. So then I started the Real Training Solutions, and then that's where I am now. Same concept. Same concept. I got a youth division, right? Because I still to get back, but yeah, the leadership. Because I'm kind of like you. I'm a bad employee, bro. I tell everybody I'm a terrible employee because I've led and been in charge of things that these people have never led or been in charge of.
Yeah.
So now you try to motivate me, like, come on, Darrius, coaching. Let me coach you, Darrius. And you're like, I mean, I could take it because you can always learn some, but they're not qualified. Like they might have led 10 people their whole life.
Yeah.
And just like you though, right? When I came out and I came to the alphabet letters that I work at, I was like, I don't want to leave. I just want to work. Like I want to come in, do my work, and get up out of here. I don't want to do no time sheets. I don't want to do none of that.
Right.
But like you, I'm bored now, and I'm seeing a lapse in, how can this person? I haven't met. That's not true. I met probably one person who I'm like, okay, you have the ability to probably lead me, where the other ones are questionable, and that one person was retired Air Force. So he just got me, right? He wasn't trying to fix me or change me. He just kind of understood, okay, you coming out with this fire and I understand where it's coming from, but let's mold that a little bit and control it. So did you face that at your job, or was it just like, it's time to go?
So yeah, I did. Like you said, man, you come out and then you finally get this fire. You're like, bro, this ain't no challenge for me. I run circles around you, bro. Like, stop trying. Really, that's what you think? No, I think we should do it this way. So here I am, right? So as you say, again, Chief, I'm sitting here and I'm sitting in meetings. I'm like, I'm just make a decision. Let's make this decision. Let's just roll. And I'm just the little guy now at work. Now I'm not the man in the room making these decisions. And so I got so frustrated. And I was like, this not happening. It's not working for me because I have so much more in me, so much more to give. People reaching out still constantly on email or whatever, asking questions. Hey, can you look at this? Can we go through this? I was like, I got a bigger call in there. they're sitting here at this cubicle like, oh, let me just send this thing. No, I got to get out in front of people and share what I know. I don't know everything, right? But I know how to meet people where they are, lead them how they want to be led, and just be me. I've never sugarcoated. You know, you hear this country twang. I don't use big words in meetings. I talk how I talk. My mama always told me, don't say a word you can't spell. Right.
Yeah.
so, so I just be me, man, and fortunately it worked for me. One of the things that actually, like, one of the most impactful, right? Because I talk about influence, impact, and those things. One of the most impactful conversations I had with a lady is she told me she was just lost. She don't know what to do. Female major, and I was like, so what are your goals? And she told me, hey, I want to be, this rank. I want to do this. I said, well, I tell you what. Do you have a mentor? She was like, no. I said, well, find somebody that looks like you.
Yeah.
Right? I said, just find somebody that look like you. And he is a female, so she does not have to be a mentor per se. I said, but you can watch her from a distance. You can see how she moves, right? If you can establish a rapport with this person, then do that. But what you got to do is find somebody that look like you. And what we do is we get so blinded by, like we talked about earlier, the white man or whoever trying to hold me back. It's plenty of brothers that's really successful in the military. Right? And everybody's just trying to uplift everybody. We just get out our own way and just listen. And then you listen to understand what the person's saying before you speak. I know we all again, I've been in charge of a lot of people. And a lot of times I never let them finish their sentence. I finish for them.
Yeah.
But if we just learn to listen, man, you'll learn so much more and just know people actually genuinely care about you, your well-being, and uplifting.
Yeah. No, that's 100, man. I'm learning that, right? Because the transition from the military to civilian world, man. First, like you say, I gotta get out of my own way, because I'm like, you don't know nothing,
Yeah.
and they know something, right? Like they know something. They got to where they are because of where they are. Uh, some days I still feel like, man, but I feel unappreciated. But what I have to realize is they don't know me from the military. Right? They
Yeah.
don't know my 21 and a half years of what I was, where people open doors for you and you get to hop the lines and all that other stuff, right? So the civilian world is definitely different. But the one thing, and let me see if you face this too, right? Like, I'm very practical, and I have experience. I could probably pull stories from anywhere almost on a lot of stuff.
Right.
So what do you think about those leaders who be like, follow my five-step plan on conflict resolution? Like, one, talk to people, right? Like, two, or my 7 steps to networking, right? Like, what do you think about that type of leadership? Because they get, like, I'll be honest, when I started on this journey of like this entrepreneur stuff, like that's what
Mhm.
you see, right? Those
Right.
those are the books you're reading, the John Maxwell books, the Simon Sinek books, whoever, Brian Brown, and but it's always like, here's 7 steps, and I know they're doing it to sell it, and that's cool, but I just wasn't on that. Like, I'm not on that yet.
No.
So, like, is that something you find yourself fighting against? Like,
Absolutely. And what you said, you know what? You see it on these social media platforms. Let me give you these 3 easy steps. If you just click the like in my bio, that don't work for you. It don't work for everybody. It might have worked for you, right? Because
yeah,
if it's working this much, right, then yes, you're gonna monetize it in some way, shape, or form. For me, I believe in leadership. It starts within you, man. You already got everything you have from within. So I'm gonna tell you what worked for me,
yeah,
like these principles that I go by, and you can transform that, translate it into whatever. It ain't gonna be 5 steps, right? Because there's 5 steps in every leadership principle. You can come up with 5. Hey, you know what? How to be a great leader. Number 1, lead yourself first. Make somebody else better. Make your bed up in the morning. Just make a habit. And it's those people, man, that say their way is the only way. I don't get in that line because what works for me ain't gonna work for you. Again, I got similar people, some peers that our career were neck and neck, and we did the exact same thing. I was fortunate enough to excel to the top. They weren't. Now they made it to 7 or 8, which is still great, but everything does not work for everybody. And what I wanted to say a few seconds ago, because you made me think about it, when you were saying, "Hey, these leaders trying to tell me what to do, and they don't know your military background, right?" What they say about a Chrysler 300?
Looks like a Bentley.
Until a Bentley pull up, right?
Until a Bentley
That's what
pull
I'm saying. So you got these people that's stuck in these positions, and that's that Chrysler 300. Not whoever got Chrysler 300s.
Yeah.
Hey, do your thing. But what I'm saying,
Just don't call it a Bentley though. Just
yeah,
call
just
it a
don't call it a
Chrysler
Bentley.
300.
Call it what it is, right?
Call it
So
what it
even
is.
like the new Corvettes. Oh, it look like a little Lamborghini. No, it don't.
No, it's a Corvette.
No, it don't.
Yeah.
It got its own little niche, right? It got its own little appeal. So it's appealing to somebody. But I tell everybody, run your own race, man. We get too much of this. We're looking to the left, looking to the right, man. If I know what my goal is, that's where I'm going, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, Peyton, what you working on? All right, cool. You got any advice? This is where I'm going, right? It's just that, and I'm gonna uplift you. Hopefully you uplift me. We get so caught up in competition, bro. I'm
Yeah.
going on the tangent right now. Like
Nah,
we talking.
man. Like I love it because that I tell everyone stop comparing. Right, the only person you're racing is yourself. So look
Yeah.
in the mirror. That's your only competition. And you're right, man. Competition. Like I think if you could remove the element of comparing, you would remove at least 75% of mental health. Right.
Oh yeah.
Because
Oh yeah.
people feel like, oh, I don't look like that, or I'm not doing this, or this person's my age, but they got so much more than me, right? And they're comparing themselves to people and then holding themselves to that standard, and they don't even really know the standard. They just see it, right? And unfortunately, with social media, as we all know, people lie, right? They're putting their best on social media. Now you're trying to live up to like I used to see people on social media, bro, and they look like they got the best marriage ever. And you be like, damn, I gotta do better in my marriage. And then after like a while, you be like, how come I don't see the spouse on any pictures no more? And then you find out, oh, they got divorced 2 years ago. And it's like, and I was looking up to that standard,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah. Fake book. I call it fake book.
Yes.
You give them the life you want them to believe you're living, man. The comparison thing, man. One of the questions people ask me a lot is like, what advice do you have for other people or entrepreneurs or whatever? And I mean, it's still tough now, right? Because I'm doing everything by myself. And one guy told me, he was like, it's because you're in competition with everybody instead of collaborating with people. He said, our problem as black men, oh, my bad. He said, our problem as black men is we want to own 100% of everything.
Yep.
He said, what's wrong with owning 10 or 15% of something? He said, but when you have this, these multiple endeavors, when you got 10, 15% invested into a company. So now you just say you got 7 companies, you invested 10, 15% in, you invest 10% of your time, 15% of your time to that. So now you got all these different streams of revenue coming in versus saying, hey, I'm 100% owner of Stay Ready Workforce Development Company. Yeah, but you ain't bringing in no money, right? So to speak, you ain't bringing in no money. Whereas you can have all these collaborations with everybody getting money and we all eat together. But we just find it's always like we worried about who rims the biggest, who got the flashiest chain or watch. But hey, bro, if you come to the table with me, when I get a watch, you get a watch. That's how it go.
That's how it should be, right? That's the
Yeah.
same way Shaq says he makes his money. He says he makes his money by partnerships, right? Because you can't be everywhere doing everything, And Jay-Z was like, shoot, I'd rather take 3% of $1 billion company than 100% of nothing.
Yeah.
Right. And it's strange because that mindset is the mindset that leaders have to have overall.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I know we talked about it from that element, but it's like I can't compare myself to other leaders either. I'm not John Maxwell.
Absolutely.
And I'm not meant to, but I do believe that God gave me a voice with a certain frequency to talk to certain people. Maybe John ain't from PG County, and I ain't from wherever John's from, So the way I talk to John people, they might be like, this dude, East Coast dude, sound funny. But when I come back home, I get the right ears, right? I'm
Yeah.
motivating and inspiring the people that my voice is meant to talk to. And it's the same with business, man. Like I hear Eric Thomas, how he's like, he never changed the hat and the shorts and the thing because he can't go talk to kids in a suit because they don't see people in suits.
Right.
Right. So he wears what he wears, and now he could wear it in corporate. Not everyone could do that. Right. Some people got to be who they are, but it's really just being yourself to that authentic leadership. Right. And you, man, I don't know if you see them, but there's so many like 9 to 5. Like I got a whole rant about the positional leader, right? That I'm not going to get into today because we're coming up on time. But
Oh, are we? Oh, yeah,
yeah,
we are. Okay.
yeah, but we can definitely get you back. Like the one thing I want everybody to come back, right? So when I get you back, we can dive into the positional leaders versus leaders, like those 9 to 5 leaders who's only doing it because the paycheck was a little bit more. They don't go home. They don't lead at home. They don't read books. They don't listen to like they don't live the leadership lifestyle. They just chase the dollars that came with being in that positional leadership position,
Yeah.
right? And that's tough for a lot of people. That's why people hate work, right? Because you're like, man, my leader. They always talk about their supervisors, man. My supervisor don't even open the door. I literally, bro, no lie. So the organization I was in, I was over 150 people. Part of the leadership team that was over 150 people, right? So I had like 9 different, because we're doing agile, so I had like 9 different little groups that all came up to about 150 people, whatever. And I used to be in meetings with leadership, like the top people in the organization, briefing on where we are in those statuses, right? Literally, the second dude from the top dude, who I'm in meetings with all the time, used to just walk by me and don't say nothing. I'm like, we're doing this to make y'all look good. You don't even say hi. You don't like, hey, PT, or none of it. It's just,
yeah, no, man. Wow.
But he's the leader, right? Like, yeah, I don't know.
You hit it on the head. Position, man. They get so wrapped up in it. Like, bro, you're not. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be able to do what you do. So I think we just get, not we, but some of them leaders get so wrapped up in their position and their title. And when I go into my job, like or whatever, when I was at work, I never told them I retired as a chief. But I tell you what, when they found out, hey, that was a chief. He a retired chief. It changed. Like big time. Now they care about what I have to say. Like,
Hey,
hey,
Chief, you're like, oh, I was
hey,
there
you know
yesterday.
so and so. I'm like, I do. But that's my fault. But it is, man. It's so hard, bro, to get people to be authentic these days because they're chasing different things, right? And if you understand what Darrius is chasing, Peyton PT can help me get there. And we no longer have to compete because we're probably not even going after the same thing, right? It's like if you sit down and take the time to learn who's who and what your desires are, man, the world will be so much easier, bro. There's life and leadership, and like you say, that PG counter comes out, you reach the right crowd. It's so many kids, right? That we can influence. One of my friends, she asked me because when I retired, I posted my retirement picture, and one of the girls, she was like, what are all of those stripes? She had no idea. And I said, hey, I was E9. What? She's like, what that mean? Okay, top 1%. And she's like, how come you never come home and talk to the kids in the community? She was like, we got all these schools have all TC programs that may be interested in these kids may be interested, but they don't have anybody that look like them that come talk to them to show they was a success. Their parents can't tell them because their parents walking around the street strung out on whatever or trying to be, the rapper, new change, you know what I'm saying? Trying to be the rapper new change instead of focusing on their kids' upbringing. So, I'm working on some stuff, man, and it's, even working with kids, right? Mindset matters. If we just change the mindset of people, the kids and adults, your whole shift, your prism, the lens that you're looking through, everything will change. So, when PT talking to me, I'm like, okay, so that's the PG counter perspective. Let me give him this St. Pete perspective. Or, like you've heard, we've seen people in the military never saw a black person before they joined.
And that is the craziest thing, right?
Right. So
Right.
when you have these conversations, you be like, hey, just hear me out. Just listen to what my perspective is, right? Republican, Democrats, everybody can come. I don't have to agree with it, but if I hear it, then when you say something crazy, I'm like, oh, he's coming from a place of not necessarily ignorance, but just what his beliefs are. Because my beliefs might not be right, hers may not be right. It's just what we actually believe in, and if you have a better understanding of each other, we could work so much better in harmony, bro.
So speaking of the youth, man, do you speak to the youth now? Is that something you open to?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely, yeah. So it didn't. So I started out with a focus on like business owners, like mid-level leaders. But as I started talking to more and more people, the people we need to be reaching right now are the youth. Because hey, Whitney Houston say the children are our future, man, and she hit it on the head. And from the young people in the military all the way to kids in school, if we catch them early enough, and I want to say set them on the right path, but set a positive influence, show them, hey, I look like you, I come from a place like you, and we can get up out of this. There's no longer to be crabs in the bucket no more. Don't let these dudes or girls hold you down, tell you got to be whatever.
Man, we gonna collaborate on some work, man. I'm focusing on putting together something, bro,
Okay.
that deals with the youth, and the goal is to get different positive people in to talk to them, right? Schools are great, but man, schools have their own agenda and focus,
Hmm.
and if you got good teachers, awesome, right? But you might also have bad teachers, right? Like so, and the kids are there a lot of hours throughout the day. So what do they get? I think you just need something on the opposite of school, right? I think you need a balance. School is going to teach them the fundamentals, things, and what they need, but they don't teach life, right? They're not going to teach you how to maneuver. How do men deal with men,
Oh yeah.
right? And like the buddy said to me on the last podcast, he was saying like we don't have like back in the day we used to all hang out on the corners and just talk and you learn because there was old heads there
Mm,
or whatever, and they're teaching you just how to survive in the world. And for everyone who's listening, I ain't talking about on the corner selling drugs or none of that nonsense.
yeah.
Just hanging out outside, and the old guys are just talking, and they're teaching you all type of stuff, good, bad, indifference. It don't matter. You're learning a different quality from the area that you are in. School is going to teach you fundamentals. They're going to teach you how to add and subtract and how to, the predicate and the vowels and all of that type of stuff, man. But I think we're losing that connection. And now, because school has gotten so structured to be based off of the test,
Hmm.
right? You can't even truly do the learning. You got to be like, oh, because if we fail the test, we don't get money. And everything now became about this money element, not the teaching.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, for sure, man. You hit it on the head because I'm 100% sure everybody that's listening out there have met somebody that's really, really book smart. And and when you just talk to them just on a regular, you be like, oh, bro, ain't no common sense in there. Like, ain't nobody home, the lights not on, or whatever you want to call it, whatever you say where you from is you absolutely need the street smarts. And like you said, it's not about selling dope. It's not about being that person that's out there in the streets that's running. It's about having common sense and the knowledge of knowing when you're being taken advantage of, what's actually really right, what's wrong, and it's about the values, principles that you were raised on. And if you weren't raised on any, then you learn something, and then know what your non-negotiables are, right? Because you know what they said: if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. So
ain't that the truth, brother?
we definitely got to get that common sense aspect and the book smart because they're equally as valuable to us as we grow older and just move throughout life.
Yeah. And wiser. I tell you, I didn't read books at all, man, until I started going on to this journey of self development. And I'm not going to get that started because we're at that time. But I do want to, when I bring you back on, man, I do want to talk about self development
Okay.
and that element of it and the importance of that to leaders,
Yeah.
right? Across all spectrum, man. But I definitely tell you, I appreciate your time coming on here, man. Uh, that's just another thing, like showing up for each other,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
You retired, I retired. We doing our things. We text here and there, but not all the time. But then to be able to hit a brother up and be like, hey man, can you come and support the show? You're like, yeah, I'll be there. And you're here. Like that's 95% of the battle. It's just showing up, showing that you care. I think sometimes we make this whole concept of leadership too complicated. Oh, you gotta have charisma, and you gotta be all that. No. What you need is to show up and care. And if you do that and want the best for people, and you can take whatever knowledge you have and impart it on them from a place of love and care, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And you just do that everywhere you go. I used to tell people, I don't care if you stay in this job or not. I'm here to make sure that you can live your full potential and do what's best for you and your family. If that's staying here, cool, then let's get that together. But if
Yeah.
I can help you get out of here to go do more, then the company will be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's funny you say that, man, because never mind, I won't go on my rant about the Air Force, but the company will be fine. The company will absolutely be fine once
Hey,
you
go
leave.
ahead, man. Go on the rant if you want. Like, I give you 5 minutes.
No, I'm good, bro.
I,
I love the Air Force. But when they tell you, whatever company or organization you're a part of, you know, be the best you could be in that organization. But a lot of people do see you as just that number, or as that body, right? Because when you walk out that door, you're replaced.
yeah,
You're replaced, and I still tell people to this day, start taking care of you, right? Take care of the business that you have that you were hired to do. But in the end, you got to also look out for you because you can go to work tomorrow and they can say, "Hey, Darrius, you know what? Don't even worry about coming back Monday.
good.
Don't even worry about it. Take your lunchbox home with you at lunch. We'll need you to come back. So, hey, don't even get water on your way out, bro.
Nah,
It's
there's
a cutthroat
security.
world. So if you just be genuine, man, and be who you are, everything will work out for you.
Yeah, man. Hey, and I appreciate that, man. But like I said, I appreciate you being on, spending time with me, talk about this topic, man. I hope that I don't hope, man. I know that someone's going to hear this and get inspired by it. But I got the final question, bro. Right? I asked everyone this question.
All
All
right.
right, man. You have the opportunity to speak to the entire world, right? Like I always say, the Pope just gave a prayer, and then he was like, Darius closes out with some advice. What advice do you have for the world?
Easy. So here we go. Now you're gonna pull my coattail like we're at the end of the sermon, right? Don't get up here and get that long preach. So for me, it's easy. Be your authentic self, man. Show up who you are every day. The one thing we're saying is take off your mask, right? Drop that mask because we all wear a mask, whether we at home, at church, actually, like I say, in school or at work, we all wearing a different mask. But if you just drop that mask and be your authentic self, everything will work out for you. People will realize that you're genuine and they will naturally just kind of gravitate to you because they know, hey, I can drop my mask as well. This is not an act, this is not a front. That I'm dealing with Darrius Smith, right? And I know I'm gonna get the raw and the real deal every time. So for me, it's take off your mask and be your authentic self.
Man, thank you. I appreciate that. Hey, where can people follow you or see you? What's your business
So
website and all that?
so the website is Stay Ready Consulting. If you can see it, it's ST4Y Ready Consulting.com. And I'm on all the social media platforms under same spelling under Stay Ready Leadership. So for me, stay ready is just that. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. I know we're closing this out. The 4 is about trust, authenticity, culture, and transformation, right? So tact is what I use it as. And then the 5 things you need to always be successful is to show up at the right place, the right time, right equipment, right uniform, right attitude. Attitude is the one thing you really can control. So own it and be the best you could be.
Man, I love it, man. And once again, everybody, all of that information of his content will be in the show notes. So look at it and then definitely follow my man and support him. If you're out, where you at now, man? You live out you in
In San
Texas,
Antonio.
right? San Antonio, right? If you're
San
out
Antonio,
in the
Texas.
San Antonio, Texas area, and y'all need some leadership coaching, mentoring, training, that's the man to reach out to. And once again, whatever platform you're listening to, follow me, subscribe. What else is it? Like buttons for all the social media I'm on. And that's it for this week, man. Stay real. Peace.
Ready. All right, bro.
Oh no, hold on. Stop. There we go.